Bismillah, alhamdulillah, salatu wassalamu ala rasulillah, sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, wa ala alihi wa sahbihi wa man wala. I remember last year when I was here, and I was doing Raising Our Parents Part 1, and somebody made an announcement upstairs and he said, Raising Our Parents. And one of the aunties was so upset. He said, you mean raising our children? I said, no, I mean raising our parents. Okay? And halfway through the presentation, we'll see why did I say raising our parents. But let me introduce the main reason behind choosing this title. Most of the time, everyone, as a member in the family, they always claim their rights before they think about performing their duties. And by the way, this is the reason behind any problem in the house. Now when I say in the house, it means the family, not just the spouses, but also the children and the relationship with the parents. I'll give you a quick example. The brothers here and the sisters can tell what is the most frequent ayah that the parents will always carry within the Quran. Right? Like Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala many times in the Quran, almost 13 times. قَضَى رَبُّكَ أَلَّا تَعْبُدُوا إِلَّا إِيَّاهُ. Give me the rest. وَبِالْوَالِدَيْنِ إِحْسَانًا. Right? Because this is giving them the rights, right? But do the children have rights upon the parents? Of course, yes. And here's the equation. And remember this statement. Before you claim your rights, perform your duties. If you want to be fair. And this is the magical statement in solving any problem. Any couple that come to me with their problem, it's brought down to this statement. They will always do this. My son does not respect me. Did you teach him respect? And there's no answer. My son doesn't have good manners. Did you teach him good manners? Were you leading in the house, for example? Who raised him? And this is what I'm talking about, raising our parents. It comes to a point where this story that I'm going to share with you now will sum it up. At the time of Umar radiallahu anhu, a father came to him and he said, Inna ibni aqani. My son is ungrateful and disobedient to me. And Umar radiallahu anhu, when his name is mentioned, justice comes to the mind. So he said, can you bring him? Because it's always the case that we sometimes judge based on listening to one party or one side of the story. We can never do this because it's unfair. Listen to the other party or the other side of the story because they might be harmed more. So this is why Umar said that. I remember one time my wife asked me to take care of the kids for 2 hours. And we as parents or husbands, we think it's easy. Why do the women nag all the time about raising the children? It's easy. And I said, no problem. That was my first experience. To be left alone with my 2 little angels. I'm not going to use the other word. First 5 minutes, I heard a scream coming out from the next door as if she was shot with a gun. And I ran, and we crashed halfway in the hallway. And she was crying in a way, wallahi, I thought she's dying. She's like, I said, calm down, just go and make wudu. She's like, okay. Very simple, women, mashallah, they control their emotions, She went to the washroom, she made wudu, and she came back. And wallahi, in less than a second, she went back to the same emotion and said, I said, no, the reason you make wudu is just to calm down so I can listen to you. Go back and make wudu. Wallahi, you can make 100 wudu. I'm not going to listen to you until you're normal. Then she realized that's the way. Then she made wudu and she came back and said, like, he passed in front of my desk without my permission. I said, criminal. How can he do this to you? Bring him here. And poor kid, you know what happened to him? And he's 2 years older than me. I saw a bruise in his forehead. I said, what happened? He said, Dad, I don't know that her desk was sacred, but I can't walk in front of it without asking her permission. She didn't write any sign. And then I just passed in front of the desk, and she pushed my head against the desk, and this is what you can see. And listen, she's the one coming to complain. So if you don't listen to the other side of the story, between the parents and the children, between the two spouses, you might come up with the wrong solution. And this is exactly what Umar was teaching us. And then she said to me, ask him to apologize, because you told us a principle. Whoever starts is wrong, and he's the one who walked in front of my desk first. I said, but he didn't sit down, he didn't start like a sacred desk, a holy area. Like, he did it, he has to apologize. But I turned to him and said, can you say sorry to her? Like that. Sorry. And she turned back to it's not coming from his heart. Would you like to know the end of the story? There's a class called Denial coming here in July, inshallah. I'll continue this. Let's go back to the story of Umar radiallahu anhu. So Umar radiallahu anhu said, bring the son. Because he's claiming that the son is ungrateful to him. Bring him. So they brought him. And when the son showed up, Umar asked him, why are you disobedient to your dad? Why are you ungrateful to your father? He said, ask him, what type of mother did he choose for me? That's number one. He chose their mate, slave. Second, look at the name he chose for me. لَقَدْ سَمَّانِي جُعْلَ اسم حشرة. The name of an insect, the beetle. It's the name of his son. Why? Why would you choose such a name? I have to choose a good name. And then he said, and he did not teach me one ayah from the book of Allah. What does he expect from me? As you sow, so you shall reap. We know what Umar said at the end. He said, اذهب فقد عقبته قبل أن يعقب. What did he do? First, to expect him to be an obedient son. Did you raise him the way it should be? Did you choose a good mother for him? Did you teach him manners? Did you choose a good name? Kids have rights to. So this is why I choose the name, so don't be confused by saying, oh, he made a mistake, he meant raising our children, but he wrote raising our parents. No, I did not. Okay, I might be harsh on the parents today, but let's start by being harsh on the kids first. And this is the part that we finished last time. What do I get if I'm kind and grateful to my parents? And then, what's the punishment that's waiting for me if I'm unkind and disobedient to my parents? So let's start with the positive side. What shall I get if I'm kind to my parents? You can see the sign. They are the key to Jannah. Who would like to make it to paradise here? One hand? Two hands only? Okay. أو شهادتين. The Prophet ﷺ says sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, he was going to the minbar, and his minbar was 3 steps. And the Sahaba heard him after each step saying, Ameen. Ameen is an Abyssinian word, it's not an Arabic word. Meaning, Allahumma stajib wa taqabbal. Oh Allah, accept the dua. So, after every step saying Ameen, and these like they can't see anyone. Why is he saying Ameen? To whom is he saying Ameen? And Ameen is different from Ameen, who's meditating, okay? Because Ameen means honest, but Ameen, that's the Abyssinian word meaning, oh Allah, accept the dua. And by the way, sometimes many of us say it wrong in the salah. When they say Ameen. No, it should be Ameen. Okay? So we prolong it at the end, not at the beginning. Because Ameen means qasidin. Wala Ameen al-Bayt al-Haram. When you're going towards something, that's Ameen. So we have to say it properly. It should be Ameen. So when the Prophet ﷺ said Ameen, the Sahaba asked him, after he finished the khutbah, they said, Prophet of Allah, we heard you saying Ameen, 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 and we couldn't see anyone. To whom were you talking? He said, Jibreel alayhi salam came to me while I was going to the minbar, and he said, Ba'uda, أو رغم أنف امرئ, وبعد أي عن رحمة الله. A person will be excluded from the mercy of Allah. من حضر والديه أحدهما أو كلاهما ولم يدخل فيهما الجنة. A person will be excluded from the mercy of Allah if he were to live to witness his parents, one of them or both of them, during their old age, and they will not be the reason for him to make it to Jannah. Oh Muhammad, say Ameen. I said Ameen. The Prophet said Ameen about that dua. So imagine if you live to witness your parents in their old age, and you wouldn't be kind enough to them to make them the reason for you to make it to Jannah, the key to Jannah. That's number one. What do I get if I am grateful to them? And you can go back to the hadith narrated by Abu Hurairah in Sahih Muslim. Second, can you imagine that being kind to your parents is equal to jihad? Wow. Can you prove this? Yeah, authentic hadith. First one, as you see in Bukhari, a man came to the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. I know they're going to be reading, so I'm not going to read them. He said to the Prophet ﷺ, Prophet of Allah, I want to subscribe my name to go for jihad. And the Prophet ﷺ asked him, are your parents alive? He said, yes. He said, فَفِيهِمَا فَجَاهِدْ. Go and take care of them. This is your jihad. Allahu Akbar. Can you imagine us taking care of your parents is equal to jihad? Can I get her some candy maybe? Some temptation. Let's disengage the wall, okay? Ceasefire. Oh, sorry. Okay. So the Prophet ﷺ said to him, take care of your parents, this is equal to jihad. Another man came to the Prophet ﷺ and he said, Prophet of Allah, again, he asked for permission to join one of the expeditions. And the Prophet ﷺ asked him, is your father alive? He said, no. Is your mother alive? He said, yes. He said, إِلْزَمْهَا فَإِنَّ الْجَنَّةَ تَحْتَ قَدَمَيْهَا. Go and take care of your mother because paradise is under the feet of your mother. It's amazing. One time we're sitting with one of the scholars and he said, can anybody bring me some dust from Jannah? And one of the students of knowledge, he left. And he came back after 5 minutes with some dust in his hand. He said, here you go. He said, what is that? He said, didn't you ask for dust from Jannah? He said, yes. He said, I just went and I started digging under the feet of my mother. And this is dust from them. Didn't the Prophet ﷺ say that Jannah is under the feet of your mother? SubhanAllah, look at people when they take things seriously, because sometimes we just make fun of what we hear. We take it lightly. Wallahi, it is serious. Taking care of your mother will take you to Jannah. And it's equal to jihad. Prophet said, don't go for jihad. Take care of your mother. Why do you want to go to jihad? You want Jannah? There's an easier way. Take care of your mother. What else do I get? A way out of hardship and tribulation. You all know the story of the 3 people who were traveling in the desert. And while they were traveling, subhanAllah, they came to a cave. They entered the cave, and then a rock moved and blocked, the opening of the cave, or the gate of the cave. So the 3 of them started remembering the good deeds that they have done in their life. And they made dua to Allah. And this is what we say, this is the tawassul al-mashru'. One of the ways that you can, ask intercession through something so that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will listen to your dua. You can do intercession through your good deeds. And this is an authentic hadith. So one of them it's a long story, but I'm going to share one of them that's relevant to our topic. He said, "Oh Allah, you know that I have old parents, and I had never ever in my life eaten before I made sure that they have eaten their food. And one night, I was working outside, and I came late, and my kids were crying out of starvation, and my parents were asleep. So I stood up all the night with the food, waiting for them to wake up. I didn't want to wake them up, to disturb them. Until they woke up and I offered them the food, then I give the food to my kids. Oh Allah, if I have done this only to please you, oh Allah, find us a way out." So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala moved the rock in a way that was not enough for them to go out until the other two mentioned their good deeds, and Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala removed the rock. So again, wallahi, 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 and I'm telling you, this is true from experience of so many people. If you are good to your parents, wallahi, at some point of time, you will be that close to a car accident, and Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will save you. It is because one of the dua of one of your parents. And the Prophet ﷺ said, "La yaruddu ad-du'a, la yaruddu al-qadar illa ad-du'a." Nothing stops the qadr of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala except dua. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, something is supposed to happen to you, and your mother or your father at that point makes dua, the dua goes up, stops the qadr of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Nothing stops the qadr except the dua. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will always listen to the dua of the parents. What else do I get? Expiation for sins. A Sahabi one time came to the Prophet sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, say sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. It's still too early to get you to stand up and do some exercise, okay? The Prophet sallallahu alayhi wa sallam one time was approached by one of the Sahaba, and sometimes the way we present the Sahaba to the people, we present them unfortunately in two extremes. Some people who are against the Sahaba, they call them disbelievers, and they were apostates. Others exaggerate in the Sahaba and they depict them as if they are prophets and they are infallible. The Sahaba are the best human beings after all prophets. Yet, they're still human. And those who attended my class, on the shoulders of giants within Maghrib, they would know exactly what I'm talking about. Inshallah, we'll bring it soon, inshallah, to London, inshallah. Maybe after the night. Or after I take a break from me, inshallah. In that class, I shared so many stories that proves, despite the fact that the Sahaba were the best, but they committed sins. Guess what? Some of them were major sins. Adultery, slandering. But they make tawbah, Allah accepted them, and they have done so much evil in their life. We cannot compare ourselves to them. But yet they are our role models. So a Sahabi came to the Prophet ﷺ one time. He was walking to the masjid. They had temptations like what we have today, because many of the brothers and sisters life is very difficult now. Wallahi, they faced challenges more worse than the challenges we are facing today. At least we are born to parents who are Muslim. They were born to parents who were worshipping idols. Imagine Amr ibn al-Jamuh, an old man in his 60s, and he has 4 children. And subhanAllah, he used to make his own idol out of wood. And he would worship him. During the night, he would sit there, it's like, hey, I'm sick today, please help me, do this to me. And then his kids, his 4 children accepted Islam. But they wouldn't talk to him because he was very old and he would be mad at them. So they tricked him. They said, one time that, we have to make a plan just to make fun of that God so that he might start thinking. So they came during the night, they took their father's God that's made of wood, and they threw him in the garbage. So before he went to bed, he went to find his God, he was not there. He searched everywhere, he couldn't find him. He went out, he found him thrown in the garbage. So he was mad at this God. How can you do this? How can you allow this to happen to you? And he took his God, washed it, put it back, and he started reprimanding him. Don't let this happen to you again. And then the following night, his children did the same thing. Grabbed the god, throw him in the garbage. So the man again searched for the god, he couldn't find him. He found him in the garbage. He brought him this time, and he was so crazy. He put him and he said, listen, here's a sword. And he tied a sword to his neck. When they come next time to touch you, defend yourself. Fight! You wouldn't think still, right? Do you want to know the end of the story? Okay. Third night, this time, they tied the god to a rock and threw him in the sewage system with his face down. So he looked for the god everywhere, he couldn't find him. Looked in the garbage, couldn't find him. He went to the sewage system, he found his god with his face down there, tied to the rock. Tried to get him out, couldn't. He looked at him and said, you know what? You don't deserve to be a god. You are no more a god. And then his children came out and said, finally, there is one real God. He said, what are you talking about? He said, come with us. And they took him to whom? To the Prophet ﷺ, and he became a Muslim. After 60 years. After 60 years. That man, may Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala be pleased with him, was lame. He had a problem with one of his legs. SubhanAllah, imagine that man who was worshipping wood. When the battle came, his 4 children, participated in the battle. And then he came to the Prophet and he said, I want to participate. The Prophet said, you're exempted. You're lame. You can't walk properly. And subhanAllah, he said, Ya Rasulullah, Wallahi inni uridu an ata al-jannah bi'arjati hadith. I want to make it to Jannah with this lame leg. Please, give me permission. He said, you have 4 children, and all of them are participating. He said, please allow me. And subhanAllah, he joined the battle, and he died in the battle. And the Prophet ﷺ said, Wallahi, I saw Ibn al-Jamuh entering Jannah with his lame leg. Even though in the day of judgment, inshallah, there will be no lame, no blind, no nothing. Because all of us will be the same height, inshallah. May Allah take us to Jannah. So anyway, that Sahabi, on his way to the masjid, he did something major. And he felt so embarrassed. When he entered the masjid, he said, how come that I have done this and I'm coming out to pray? But he did not stop. He went to the masjid. And he took the Prophet ﷺ, he said, Prophet of Allah, on my way to the masjid, I saw a woman and I kissed her. How did the Prophet ﷺ react to him? Did he say, Astaghfirullah, get out of the masjid. You are impure now. You're not Muslim anymore. People make mistakes. And this is a Sahabi. But the Prophet ﷺ, until that moment, he had no answer for him. But he didn't ask him to leave the masjid. In fact, when the Sahaba told him about someone who was praying in the corner of the masjid, they said, Prophet of Allah, this man commits adultery. You know what the Prophet said? He said, didn't he say, like, carry him and throw him out of the masjid? He said, دعوه فإن صلاته سوف تنهى. Leave him. Inshallah, gradually, when he continues praying, his prayer will stop him. Because Allah said, وَأَقِمِ الصَّلَاةِ إِنَّ الصَّلَاةَ تَنْهَى عَنِ الْفَحْشَاءِ وَالْمُنكَرِ. Establish the salah regularly. At some point, wallahi, it will stop you from doing or saying anything wrong. Gradually, when you understand what it means, when you start really connecting with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, it will purify you from inside. So the Prophet ﷺ started reading the prayer, and Allah revealed ayat to him. وَأَقِمِ الصَّلَاةِ طَرَفَيِ النَّهَارِ وَزُلَفًا مِنَ اللَّيْلِ. And subhanAllah, and Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala gave the answer to this Sahabi. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said, إِنَّ الْحَسَنَاتِ يُذْهِبْنَ السَّيِّئَاتِ. When you do good deeds, committed a sin, you admitted the sin, this is step number 1. And then you came to the masjid to do something good, and you felt remorse that you have done something wrong, Allah will accept you. Once you say astaghfirullah from your heart, Allah will accept you. You know what Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says in response to you when you say astaghfirullah? Allah talks to the angels, and He says, عَلِمَ عَبْدِي أَنَّ لَهُ رَبًّا يُؤَاخِذُ بِالذَّنْبِ وَاشْهِدُكُمْ أَنِّي قَدْ غَفَرْتُ لَهُ. When you say, I ask Allah for forgiveness, Allah talks to the angels and He says, my servant so-and-so knows that he has a Lord who will hold him or her accountable for what they have done. And He talks to the angels saying, bear witness, I have forgiven him or her. On one condition, that astaghfirullah should be coming from the heart. Because Ali ibn Abi Talib radiallahu anhu passed by someone one time and he was saying like this, astaghfirullah, 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 astaghfirullah. He said, Akhi, inna istighfaraka hada fi hajatin ila istighfar. The way you are saying, I ask Allah for forgiveness is a sin in itself. It needs you to ask Allah to forgive you. Because you have to feel it. You have to mean it. How many times we say things that we don't mean? And we mean things that we don't say. Right? And this is what sometimes you hear like a dialogue between the husband and the wife when they are angry. He's going to say, I love you. Look at the expression. He's going to say, yeah, I know. I was trying to solve a problem of communication between two spouses who came to me for life coaching, and I said, how do you communicate? He said, what do you mean? I said, do you express your emotions to your wife? I said, yeah. Sometimes I buy her something. It's like you talk. You know, the way to the woman's heart, as we said yesterday, goes through her ears. You have to always say this all the time. So, you know, do I have to? She knows. And then subhanAllah, gradually he started to say. So he went to her and said like, you know, I love you. And then look at the answer, she said, Jazakallah. As if they're like soldiers in the army, you know, like formal life. No, this is emotions. You have to feel what you say. Because the other person, especially women, Allah has given them 6 senses, not 5 senses like us as men. You know the 6th sense? Anybody here know? She knows where you are. That's why she buys you a telephone. Anyway. Okay. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala gave a way out to the Sahabi. He said, do good deeds because the good deeds will erase the bad deeds. So the Sahabi asked Allah to forgive him and he prayed and Allah forgive him. Let's be positive. And then after that, what's the relationship between this and parents? Listen to the end of the story. The Prophet ﷺ said, Allah said, do good deeds because they will erase the bad deed that you have done. By kissing a woman who is not your wife. And then the Prophet ﷺ asked him, is your father alive? He said, no, he passed away. He said, is your mother alive? He said, no, she passed away. He said, is your aunt? Halaqa khala? Is your aunt alive? He said, yes. He said, go and take care of her. Because the aunt is like the mother. SubhanAllah. So even being kind to the sister of your mother is an act of obedience to Allah that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will forgive your sins for. What else do I get? If you take an oath upon Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, if you are kind to your parents, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will honor it. And what's the story behind this? We all know the story of Waaz ibn Amir al-Qarni. He's a man from Yemen. The Prophet sallallahu alayhi wa sallam told Umar radiallahu anhu, Umar, delegations will come to you from Yemen. So always ask about a man called Waaz ibn Amir al-Qarni. And when you see him, ask him to make dua for you. Ask him to ask Allah to forgive you. Imagine somebody from Yemen, and who's Umar? He's the second best man in this ummah, after Abu Bakr radiallahu anhu. And Abu Bakr is the best man after all prophets. Yet, the Prophet ﷺ is asking him that somebody coming amongst a delegation from Yemen to make dua for him. There must be something special about that man. Would you like to know? Now, okay. So the Prophet ﷺ told him something about that man. He said, ask him when he comes so that you can identify him. Ask him, if he was afflicted with leprosy, and Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala cured him, except of a spot like a loli or a toy that we have today in his body. That's the one besides Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Do not worship anyone besides Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And right after that he would say, وَبِالْوَالِدَيْنِ إِحْسَانًا, and be kind and grateful to your parents. The Prophet ﷺ was asked this question, مَا أَحَبُّ الْأَعْمَالِ إِلَى اللَّهِ يَا رَسُولَ اللَّهِ, what's the most beloved act of worship to Allah, Prophet of Allah? He said, الصَّلَاةُ عَلَى وَقْتِهَا, to pray on time. He said, ثُمَّ أَيْ, what's the second most beloved act of worship to Allah? He said, بِرُّ الْوَالِدَيْنِ, to be kind and grateful to your parents. Then after that he said, al-jihad fi sabilillah. Why? Subhanallah. Look at this, because if you do not connect with Allah, if you don't have a relationship with Allah, you will never think about jihad. If you do not develop good character to take care of your parents, you will never think about jihad. So there are steps that will precede that. You have to be prepared. This is why, in one of the poems of one of the famous scholars of fiqh now, he said, من خان حي على الصلاة خان حي على الكفاح. Whoever does not respond to the call of حي على الصلاة, come to pray, will never respond to come to fight for the sake of Allah. You have to prepare yourself first. You have to connect with Allah first. Okay, what are the consequences if I'm disobedient and ungrateful? Now that we knew the fruits, let me just stop here for a second. I just want to share a short clip with you, inshallah. Would this reach here? This one? Can you turn off the lights?
Δυνατά. Σήμερα ο μικρός μου γιος πριν λίγες μέρες έξυξε από τρία. Καθόταν μαζί μου έξω στο πάρκο όταν ένας ήρθε και κάθισε απέναντι μας. Μου λέω που ρώτησε 21 φορές τι ήταν αυτό. Και τον πάτησε και τις 21 φορές ότι ήταν. Και ένας που αγκάλισα τα χαράκια της 21 φορές που μου έκανα την ίδια ερώτηση ξανά και ξανά χωρίς να εγκαθιστώ να προσθέτει το αυτό.
Oh, there's more.
إِحْسَانًا
I hope you got the message behind the clip. So what are the consequences if I'm the opposite? If I'm not kind and obedient to my parents, if I'm not grateful to them? The Prophet ﷺ was sitting with the Sahaba one day, and then he said to them, أَلَا أَدُلُّكُمْ or أَلَا أُخْبِرُكُمْ بِأَكْبَرِ الْكَبَائِرِ Shall I inform you? He's talking about the kaba'ir, the major sins. But he described it as أَكْبَرِ الْكَبَائِرِ. So the biggest amongst the major sins. And then they said, please, Prophet of Allah. He said, الشرك بالله, to associate partners with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Then right next to that he said, وَعُقُوقُ الْوَالِدَيْنِ, and to be ungrateful or disobedient to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And the hadith is inside the Bukhari. So, being ungrateful and disobedient to your parents is one of the biggest amongst the major sins. What else? Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will not look at the person who is disobedient and ungrateful to his parents on the day of judgment. As the Prophet sallallahu alayhi wa sallam said in the hadith, and these are the three. First one he said, Al-'aaqu li-walidayk. Allah will not look at him. Al-'aaq lil-khamr wal-mannan. The person who is an addict, who is an alcoholic. And the third one is al-mannan. The person who goes between people with amongst people with namima. He will just take a piece of this from here, he'll add something and he'll try to cause enmity amongst people. Or also it could be the person who always reminds people of the favors that he has done to them. So whatever he does, he doesn't do it to please Allah, but he does it to keep reminding people, remember that day when I helped you, remember that day when I gave you the money, you remember that day. So do what you do to please Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. What else? Deprivation of Jannah. As the Prophet ﷺ said in the hadith, he said, 3 types of people will not make it to Jannah. And he started with Al-'aaq wal-walidayk. Again, the person who is disobedient and ungrateful to his parents. And he said, at the youth, the person who does not have protective jealousy. He would see his wife or his children doing something haram, and he wouldn't feel anything inside his heart. A woman who dresses and behaves like men, al-mutarajjila. The wrath of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. The Prophet sallallahu alayhi wa sallam said, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has made forbidden to you, and then he mentioned so many things, and the first one he said, عقوق الأمهات. So being disobedient, and he specified this time, talking about mothers more than fathers. And then, وَوَأْدُ الْبَنَاتِ, because this was one of the customs of the Arabs during the pre-Islamic era, during Al-Jahiliyyah, that they used to bury the baby girls alive. What are the rights of the parents? SubhanAllah. These ayat in Surah Al-Isra, Surah number 17, ayat 23 to 25, sums up the central theme of Birr al-Walidayn that you heard, the Shaykh was reciting at the end of the clip. وَقَضَى رَبُّكَ أَلَّا تَعْبُدُوا إِلَّا إِيَّاهُ. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has decreed that you worship none besides Him. And then He said, وَبِالْوَالِدَيْنِ إِحْسَانًا. And you have to be kind and obedient and grateful to your parents. إِمَّا يَبْلُغَنَّ عِنْدَكَ الْكِبَرَ. Look at the word عِنْدَك, when they reach their old age, while, subhanAllah, you are taking care of them. Before, they used to deny themselves, food and drink and clothing to see you dressed the best, eating the best food. Now they're old, and they are old in your house. عِنْدَكَ الْكِبَرَ. Their old age. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said, إِمَّا يَبْلُغَنَّ عِنْدَكَ الْكِبَرَ فَلَا تَقُلْ لَهُمَا أُفٍّ وَلَا تَنْهَرْهُمَا. Do not show the slightest act of anger or frustration. In fact, the word says, لَا تَقُلْ لَهُمَا أُفٍّ. Uff is not a kalima, it's not a word. Uff is the exclamation of frustration. When somebody, gets you frustrated, you do like this. It's like, it's not even a word. It's an exclamation, or you are showing frustration. Don't ever do this to your parents, ever. Look, today, the parents talk, what happens? The kids talk back. But Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is saying, the slightest sign of frustration, don't even show that. وَلَا تَنْهَرْهُمَا. And do not reprimand them. Sometimes, subhanAllah, you have your old parents living with you in the house, and because, they are too weak now, they're holding something and they spill the water or something, fill in the ground and it crashes, like you start reprimanding them. Okay, hey dad, what's wrong with you? Can't you hold the cup in your hands? Look at the mess that you have created. I've seen people, treating their parents like that. Subhanallah. When Abdullah ibn Umar, a man came to him, and he was carrying his mother during Hajj, all around Hajj, carrying her. And then he said, do you think I've paid my mother off by doing that to her during Hajj? He said, not even 1 second of the labor, of the pain that she went through while she was delivering you. And let me ask you a question. You are carrying her now. Even if you have to take her to the washroom, how do you feel? And he said, I feel disgusted, of course. He said, she used to carry you when you were young, and she used to be happy to change your diapers. You carry her now, and what do you wish for her? You wish for her to die. But she used to carry you when you were young, and she used to wish you life. It's never the same. So do not ever show frustration. Do not ever reprimand them for anything that they do. وَقُلْ لَهُمَا قَوْلًا كَرِيمًا. If anything has to come out of your mouth, it should be good words. May Allah, extend your life. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala take you to Jannah. May Allah reward you for what you have done to me. وَاخْفِضْ لَهُمَا جَنَاحَ الذُّلِّ مِنَ الرَّحْمَةِ. And lower and humble yourself. Lower the wings of mercy to them. Out of humbleness. And then make dua for them. وَقُلْ رَبِّ ارْحَمْهُمَا كَمَا رَبَّيَانِي صَغِيرًا. Oh Allah, have mercy on them as they have raised me when I was young. This is how we should treat our parents, and you can go through the rest of the ayah. What else? What are the rights of the parents? Be grateful to your parents, but there's only one case. You cannot obey them. Because there is a rule in Islam that says, لا طاعة لمخلوق في معصية الخالق. There is no obedience for the creation if it's disobedience to the Creator. So if your parents command you to take off the hijab, do not listen to that. Continue wearing the hijab. If you are trying to wear a beard to follow the sunnah of the Prophet and they command you to shave it, don't shave it, because the Prophet commanded you and they are commanding you. So if they are commanding you to do something that's disobedient, that's disobedience to Allah, do not listen to them. And here is the belief. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, this is the story of Sa'd ibn Abi Waqqas. When he accepted Islam, his mother started pressuring him to leave Islam. And he came to the Prophet and he said, Prophet of Allah, I love my mother so much. And my mother is threatening me. You know what she did? She went on a strike. She said, I'm not going to eat, I'm not going to take a shower until I die. And people will blame my death on you. So you live with this shame for the rest of your life. So he went to the Prophet and said, I love my mother so much, but I love Islam more. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala revealed this ayah. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, in Surah Luqman, ayah number 15. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said, وَإِن جَاهَدَاكَ عَلَىٰ أَن تُشْرِكَ بِمَا لَيْسَ لَكَ بِهِ عِلْمٍ فَلَا تُطِعْهُمَا يَتْ وَصَاحِبْهُمَا فِي الدُّنْيَا مَعْرُوفًا. If they were to exercise pressure on you to commit shirk, to associate partners with Allah, do not listen to them, do not obey them. That's what his mother was trying to do. Yet, be kind to them. So even if my parents are not Muslims, I have to be kind to them? Yes. For the rest of my life? Yes. If they're not treating me well? Yes. Is there any other sin more worse than shirk? This is the mother of Sa'd ibn Abi Waqqas. Yet, do not obey them, do not disobey Allah, but be kind to them. So this is why Sa'd ibn Abi Waqqas went back to his mother, who was trying to exercise that pressure on him. He said, Ummah, لو أن لك 100 نفس خرجت أمامي نفسا على أترك هذا الدين ما تركت. He said, my mother, if you have 100 souls, and I have seen you dying in front of my own eyes 100 times, one after the other, I will never leave Islam. So she started eating and she took a shower. Okay, what are the rights? Some people ask me, what about the rights of my parents after they pass away? My parents passed away, or one of them passed away. How can I be kind to them even after their death? Yes, we have this in Islam. Make dua to them. Ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to forgive their sins. Give charity on their behalf. Contribute to an ongoing charity, to a masjid, to a fountain, to a school. Ask Allah to forgive their sins. Carry out their final instructions. They will write something in their will. They would say, do this and do this. As long as it is obedience to Allah, do it. Also, join ties. Reach out the kinship. The relationship which are dependent on them. Anyone who is close to your father. Even their friends or your mother. Be kind to them. This is also kindness to your parents after they pass away. Now let's conclude with the last part, which is go back and be harsh on the parents after we gave them all what they deserve when it comes to being obedient to them. But let's blame them also today for something that the kids have in their hearts against them. So please listen with an open heart as you listen to the first part. Question is, so what's wrong today in the relationship between the children and the parents? What's wrong? And let's just listen to these messages coming from the children to the parents. They don't have time for me. Whoever agrees with this statement, raise your hands. Amongst the youth. They don't have time for me. Right? Don't worry, you're not going to be penalized. Right? I'll protect you. Okay? Both parents are busy because both of them work full time. So the children are complaining. They don't have time for me. Am I right or right? Another complaint. My parents do not understand me. Yeah, because we were raised back home. We didn't go to high school here. You don't know what happens in high school. Back home, if you just move like this, you'll be beaten up, almost to death. Today go and visit a high school. The teacher is standing right there, and the kids are on the iPhone, on the YouTube, and he can't even touch them. He can't even talk to them. It's a complete different world. Back home, we didn't have co-education most of the time. Girls were at one school and the boys were one school. Now we're surrounded by people who are not Muslims. And during the summer, they forget to put on clothes. So they have challenges that we have never been exposed to. Yet we treat them as if they are like us. Be strict, fear Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, So you are speaking a language that they don't understand, and they're trying to speak to you, you don't understand them. Dad, you don't know what's going on at school. What's wrong with you? What's wrong? What's happening at school? You don't know. I need a role model at home, but I can't find one. Because the father is busy, and the mother also is busy. And who's raising? Some people today, second to be a mother. Third, to contribute to the community. But subhanAllah, today, because of the culture we live under, it's I'm a career woman. So what do you mean by that? What's the cover? It's I want to help the community before I help my husband. I want to help the community before I help my children. So she delivers, and 1 week if she can, or 1 month, or 2 months, she leaves the kids to the daycare business, and she goes to work. She doesn't want to stop her career. And then later on, both parents who were so busy making money, they come to the imam. Imam, what is your magic stick? Why? My son is not a good person. And my daughter that I have spent all my life making money to raise them, she's not a good person. My son ended up being a boyfriend, and my daughter is a girlfriend. My son yesterday was running with the knife, behind his mother. And I talked to him, he talks back. And then one time I asked the dad, I said, how old is your son? He said, he's still young. How old is he? He said, just 25. I said, mashallah, a baby. What have you been for the last quarter of a century? 25 years you have been busy making money, but you didn't make a human being. So So when the kids get lost, we think that the imam will have a magic stick and he will hit them like this. Like, MashaAllah, I'm Umar ibn Khattab. Where's the masjid? It's not going to happen. It's not going to happen. Your job is to raise your kids. This is why I said that my presentation is raising our parents. Where are the parents? Another message. I learned professional lying at, okay? Do you know how we teach our kids professional lying? You know, the phone rings. And then what you do is, and he's young, right? He doesn't know lying yet, right? So he picks up the phone and he's scared because like this is the rest, like, and it's like, Assalamu alaikum. Yes, uncle. I don't know. You are my father. He's making like, you know, strange and weird signals. What do you mean that? Tell me I'm not here. Astaghfirullah. Hi uncle, Assalamu alaikum. My dad tells you he's not here. Why? Because the kid is innocent. He doesn't know lying. Now you're teaching him to be a professional liar. And we say like, you know, it's a white lie, it's a white lie. Who said that lies have colors? A lie is a lie. It's a light lie. MashaAllah. Which scale do you have to weigh lies? A light and a heavy, a black and white. Same thing happens every day. And let's speak on the manners, okay? The doorbell rings. She asks her daughter, like, go and get the door. Auntie so-and-so. I hate it. Hey aunt, my mother said she hates you and she's not here. They don't know how to hide facts. You said you hate her, so you told her right away. Why would you hide this? Why would you say it? You mean it. And then you come and say, I don't know why my son is always lying. Really? He learned this somewhere. Why I don't pray? I don't see anybody doing this at home. Because my parents, mashallah, if they pray, they pray at work. They come back home, done. I never see somebody praying at home. You're paying me. Why I drink? Because all my friends do. Al-mar'u ala dini khalil. Have you ever checked who are the friends of your son or your daughter? Oh, well, I'm not married yet? Because my dad told me, you have two options. To marry your cousin or to marry your cousin. And by the way, I don't mean like, you know, two cousins, like it's the same person. Don't misunderstand me. And my cousin comes from a different culture. She lives back home. She doesn't even speak English. She'll come here. She will learn, inshallah, don't worry. She doesn't understand what is the meaning of life here. I gave the word to my brother. Would you like to embarrass me in front of the family? Done. And then they marry, and they get divorced after 2 years, and it's like, no, I don't know why the marriage did not work. You don't know? Okay. Watch the movie. Thanks to the TV, to the movies, and the bad company for the bad characters that I have. Who teaches the kids when the parents are busy? They're watching movies. They're friends. They spend more time with them than they spend time with you. In fact, they would wish that they would go and live with their friends. How many times they nag you? I want to go sleep over. I want to go sleep over with my friend. I want to go sleep. Why? Because they find freedom there. Nobody tells them, don't eat this, don't say this. They have their freedom. My role models, about celebrities in sports and movies. I went one time to give a speech about the 10 promised Jannah while they were still walking on earth. And as an introduction, I said, I have a competition for you guys because they were all young. I said, I'll give you a paper in your right hand and a paper in your left hand. And I want you to write, 10 celebrities today and 10 celebrities from the past. And then they, when it comes to them, guess what? Who were the celebrities? Hockey game players, basketball players, Bieber. You know how I knew this? Oh, because I traveled a lot. And I saw like somebody was sitting next to me and they were like crazy when like a young boy came and he's like, hey, come here. It's like somebody was like jumping as if he had like stomach trouble. Is that Bieber? Bieber or whatever? What's that? And you tell them, do you know Zayd ibn Thabit, who was 12, he memorized all the Quran that was revealed at that time, and later on he became the main scribe of the Quran? Who? And then I said, can you tell me in the other paper, the 10 who were promised Jannah while they were walking earth? And they said Abu Bakr, and Umar, and then Uthman, and then Ali ibn Affan, and that's it. He didn't even say Uthman ibn Affan, Ali ibn Abi Talib. He didn't say it properly, and they stopped there. So how can they take them as role models when they're living day and night, taking the wrong ones as their role models? Why I'm on drugs? This is how to make money fast. This is what they see around them. Why I don't understand the Quran? My father's main concern that I must be one of two. Either a physician, a doctor, or an engineer. That's his main concern. Anything comes next. Later on, inshallah. I'll send you to the Middle East and you will learn the Quran later on, inshallah. After you get married. No, after you go for Hajj. After you make money. My parents have no clue to the challenges that are facing me. Wallahi, sometimes the kids are watching something in their own room, in the laptop, and once you come, they minimize the pages, and they have the Quran in the background. And they say, MashaAllah, my son is very pious. He's up until 2 a.m. listening to the Quran, MashaAllah. And then when the report card comes, it's like, no. But I wonder, why does he get a sleep? What is he doing during the night? I see him. Of course, after listening to the Quran, he will stand up and do the night prayer. I don't know what type of prayer he's doing during the night. That's why he's getting the sleep. Do you sit with them? Do you befriend them? Do you talk with them about their concerns? Even when Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala guided me, my father is against me attending the halaqas or wearing a beard. Oh, I heard that you're going to that halaqa regularly. That's dangerous. Son, take it easy. Those people who go to the path, they end up being extreme. SubhanAllah. Why don't you go with him to the halaqa and make sure that he's not learning something wrong? A sister, mashallah, Allah will guide her and she will put on the hijab and her mom will say, you're not engaged yet. When you marry, let your husband make you wear the hijab. No hijab before marriage. Astaghfirullah. Are you going the opposite way? Instead of encouraging him to wear the hijab? Listen, wallahi, we immigrated and we came here and the Sahaba immigrated from Mecca to Medina. I always use this analogy. Always remember to ask yourself. They immigrated with one thing and they left everything behind. What did they take with them when they immigrated? Their deen. The most precious thing in their life. If they meet Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala with the deen, with nothing else, they will make it with them. Why did you immigrate? Keep asking yourself your question. If you meet Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala with money, with a house, with children, with everything except your deen, you have lost everything. So always remember this. So what's the solution? Now that we knew as children what we will get if we are kind to our parents, what punishment is waiting for us if we are unkind and ungrateful to our parents. Now the parents knew. Why am I saying raising our parents? What's the way out? This is going to be, inshallah, raising our parents, part 3. Jazakumullah khairan. And I'm going to leave it to Brother Hakim and give them 10-minute break. You can, inshallah, as I told you before, I'm coming back in, inshallah. Would you like to see me again? Ever? Okay. So I'm coming back in July, inshallah. Coming back in July. You see this class? That's going to be my class. I'm going to be teaching it with the Maghrib Institute. It's called Denial. And you have this Denial in your seat because I'm going to be doing Tafsir, Surah Yasin and Surah Al-Rahman. Do you know that in Surah Al-Rahman, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala used an ayat 31 times? 31 times. فَبِأَيِّ آلَاءِ رَبِّكُمَا تُكَذِّبَانِ. Which of the favors of your Lord do you deny? Wallahi, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala blesses us with many, many blessings. And we take them for granted. So, how can we be grateful to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala? By not denying His blessings, by acknowledging them, and by using them as means that will take us to Jannah. In Surah Al-Rahman, Allah talks about Jannah, what's waiting for the good people in Jannah. And He talks about hellfire, what's waiting in hellfire for the people who will be disobedient to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And if you go and move from Surah Al-Rahman that starts with Ar-Rahman, and then the first word is Allama al-Quran, followed by Khalaqa al-Insan. Which comes first? Creating man or teaching the Quran? It should be Ar-Rahman, Khalaqa al-Insan, Allama al-Quran. Why did Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala say Allama al-Quran before He said that He created man? Would you like to know the answer? I have a detailed answer in the class, inshallah. Detailed answer to this question. And then if you move to Surah Yasin, subhanAllah, it starts with Yasin. Next word is وَالْقُرْآنِ الْحَكِيمِ. Allah. Ar-Rahman allama al-Quran, Yasin wal-Quran al-Hakim. Why is Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala taking an oath of the Quran? Well, Allah is mentioned in the Quran at the beginning of Surah Al-Rahman too. The main theme, subhanAllah, of Surah Yasin, again, is denial of resurrection. And as I said before, for those who took the eternal journey with me, the main reason for every evil on earth today is the denial of the Day of Judgment. If people know that they will stand up one day from their graves, and they will stand in front of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and will be asked about everything that they have done in this life, they will be very good in this dunya, and they will get ready for that fight. But at the end of Surah Yasin, one of the disbelievers of Makkah came, and he got some of the remnants, decayed parts of a dead body, and he fractured them in his hands, and he threw them in the face of the Prophet ﷺ. And he said, Ya Muhammad, أَيَزْعُمُ رَبُّكَ أَنَّهُ سَوْفَ يُحْيِي هَذِهِ الْعَظَامِ بَعْدَ أَنْ رَمَّتْ. So he's denying resurrection. Do you think the Prophet ﷺ answered him? The Prophet ﷺ was so humble and so decent. But someone else answered him. Do you know who? Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. In very beautiful ayat. How did Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala answer him? How did Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala refute his claim that He will be able, inshallah, to resurrect people? We will share this, inshallah, in the class. But I'm going to end up with this. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala uses the word maut in the Quran. It doesn't mean death all the time. It also means sleep. And there's an ayah, inshallah, you will watch a clip, not now, inshallah, later on, inshallah. Brother Hazm will share it with you. It's a very nice clip that I acted with one of the students from Ottawa about that ayah. Inshallah, it will wake you up because it's called Wake Up. It's called Wake Up. And it's based in one ayah in Surah Yasin, inshallah. So these two surahs are very, very close to the hearts of so many people. We'll stop at every single word and explain the deep meaning of them. SubhanAllah. Imagine when you are in Jannah, inshallah, and every Friday you'll be invited to meet with Allah. And you will read Surah Al-Rahman from Al-Rahman, subhanahu wa ta'ala. Imagine, one of my dreams was to listen to the Quran from the Prophet ﷺ. And when I heard this, that in Jannah, people will be invited on Friday, subhanAllah, we will listen to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala reciting the Quran. How beautiful that would be. So inshallah, let's study Surah Al-Rahman together and Surah Yasin. And don't miss that opportunity, because this class will come to your city only one time. So inshallah, we'll give you a 10-minute break. There is registration, inshallah, with the sisters at the back and the brother here in the front. And I think there's also, they're selling something. And they have donation boxes. If you cannot attend the class, you have some parents who passed away and you want to invest and have like something called ongoing charity, contribute to one of the students of knowledge who want to come to the class but cannot pay. Give some money, because the brothers and the sisters, mashallah, they give scholarship to those who want to attend the class but they can't make it, inshallah. Been living your entire life in a trance, in a state of heedlessness, ghafla, negligence, in denial. At the count of 3, you will begin to see the signs. 3, 2, 1. وما تأتيهم من آية من آيات ربهم إلا كانوا عنها معرضين. At the count of 3, you will be awake. 3, 2, 1.